This is Mission Control Houston. The Expedition 30 crew on board the International Space Station splitting its time today between a variety of normal daily maintenance work as well as supporting the scientific research that is the main mission for the International Space Station. After the daily planning conference, Commander Dan Burbank installed a spare communications unit that'll be used as a backup for communications for commercial cargo vehicles when they begin flying to the space station. The first demonstration flight of the Dragon spacecraft from Space Exploration Technologies Corporation does remain targeted for a flight to the station next month. Burbank also set up ultrasound hardware for a series of routine eye exams that were conducted by several crew members, and then moved on to an annual maintenance task, changing out hydraulic components at the waste hygiene compartment, the toilet in the U.S. section of the space station. Flight engineers Anton Shkaplerov and Anatoly Ivanishin captured more video for the Russian educational program, Science 2.0, and then worked together on a Russian investigation of the cardiovascular system while a crew member is working, in this case exercising on a stationary bicycle. They also spent time packing items in the Progress vehicle that's due to be undocked from the International Space Station in 2 weeks' time. A big part of the day on Wednesday for flight engineer Oleg Kononenko was monitoring refilling of cooling loops in the environmental control system in the Russian segment of the space station. He also did maintenance work and gathered some microbial air samples for later analysis. European Space Agency astronaut Andrei Kuipers spent the day, a good portion of the early part of his day, on the VO2 Max experiment, setting up the hardware and then exercising while his respiration was very closely monitored. This is part of a research into gauging the levels of oxygen uptake in a crew member after they spend a lot of time on orbit. Kuipers also took part in the ultrasound eye exams and then worked on ESA's foam experiment, which introduces the concept of foams to school children while they do the experiment on the ground that the astronauts are doing in space, so they can see how things are different when there's no gravity. Flight engineer Don Pettit also did some maintenance work at the waste hygiene compartment, replacing some piping, and then worked activating the NanoRacks experiment, which processes materials science samples in microgravity. On Thursday, more of the crew members will take part in the VO2 Max data takes, while Burbank, Kuipers, and Pettit will talk about their mission and what they see out the window in an interview with the Weather Channel's Stephanie Abrams and Mike Bettis.